Daniil Medvedev is one of the most talked about players in modern-day tennis. Not all of it has been positive, though, as the man has had his fair share of controversies. The current US Open champion has also had a very rocky year in the game. Today's video, we're talking about the recent Medvedev drama and some other related news. So, let's get started. First up, Daniil Medvedev loses to Richard Gasquet. Last month, the current world number 2 made a return to the game at the Geneva Open round of 16. He was out for a couple months as he was undergoing surgery on a hernia. He met Richard Gasquet in his first match back and ended up losing in straight sets. As it turned out, this was his only match on clay before the French Open. This came as a surprise to fans around the world, as it was the only time Richard has beaten a top 2 player in his career, apart from beating Roger Federer in 2005. After the match, Daniil told the press that he didn't feel so good about his chances at Roland Garros. He said it would be hard to get past Rafael Nadal and Novak Djokovic, who were favorites to win the tournament. Well, they always are. He said that he needed to be in the zone to be able to produce good results, but he doesn't play his best tennis on clay courts. His best result at the French Open was the quarterfinals last year. The star did say that with more practice, he'd be ready for the tournament. After this result and comments, fans were obviously worried about Daniil. It wasn't like him to sound unconfident in his game. Next, we have Medvedev at the French Open. Although Daniil came into Roland Garros not feeling his best, and almost no one considered him to go too far in the tournament, his start was very promising. In the first round, he breezed past Facundo Bagnis with a very comfortable win. The match ended in just over 90 minutes. It was Danny's first win on the surface in 2022, and a much-needed one too. In the second round, the second seed met Laszlo Dare. Danny cruised to a win in straight sets again, getting a step closer to his second Grand Slam title. Though it was a seemingly easy win, the Russian star commented that he struggled a bit out there. Next, he was facing Miomir Kecmanovic in the third round. After a couple of solid wins in earlier rounds, Daniil produced his best performance of the tournament yet and charged past his opponent in straight sets. It was 3-for-3 wins for the world number 2, and just as he had seemed to find his zone, then came in Marin Cilic. Only 2 days after Danny had looked like he found his stride, he was knocked out of the tournament by Marin Cilic in straight sets in just 1 hour and 45 minutes. It was a very easy win for Cilic, who's almost unbeatable when he gets going, and this was just one of those days. It was an early exit for the second seed, much to the crowd's disappointment. Though clay isn't Cilic's best surface either, he served and almost flawlessly gave his opponent no chance to hit back. He won 90% of his first serve points. Danny, who is known for his excellent running, could never even bring up a breakpoint. He also got broken 5 times as he struggled to come out on top the entire game. The match ended with a former US Open champ going into the next round and the current US Open champ ending his pursuit for the French Open this year, as he had suspected earlier. Fans were understandably stunned by this result. Despite the warnings, no one expected Daniil Medvedev to crash out of the tournament so soon, especially after he played really well in the first 3 rounds. But maybe next year we go again. So, who's the new number 1? Before the start of the tournament, Daniil was coming into it with a chance of getting back to the number 1 ranking in men's tennis. But as the tournament has unfolded and he's exited early, the number 1 spot is up for grabs. With Novak Djokovic losing to Rafael Nadal last night, it is now Sasha Zverev's result in the tournament which will decide the new world number 1. Zverev, who shouldn't even be allowed to play tennis right now as he's under investigation by the ATP regarding domestic abuse allegations, is into the semis after beating the new rising star Carlos Alcaraz. If Zverev wins the Roland Garros, he'll take the top spot on the 13th of June. If he loses in the final, Novak keeps his ranking for at least another week. But on the 13th, Daniil takes over. And if Sasha just ends up crashing out in the semis, Daniil goes from number 2 to number 1 in the ATP rankings immediately. Sounds complicated, yes, but only a few more days and we'll know who it is. And that's all about the recent Daniil Medvedev drama. Let's move on to some other related news, starting with the King of Clay. Few things are certain in life: birth, death, and Rafa Nadal winning at Roland Garros. There is nothing in sports that's quite like Rafa at the French Open. He's won the tournament 13 times and counting in 17 years, only losing thrice in his entire career. And every time you think that maybe this is it, he's done now, he proves you wrong, as he did last night against the world number 1, Novak Djokovic, as 2 of the greatest players of all time met for the 59th time. Many believed Novak to be the favorite to win. Nadal was recovering from a fractured rib. He was dealing with chronic foot pain, and his form had been far from his best. But this was Nadal at Roland Garros. He could probably do this in his sleep. In a match that started in May and ended in June, Rafa blew Novak away from the beginning of the game. He took the opening set with ease, and while the defending champion managed to take the second set, he couldn't stop Rafa where he's most comfortable. In a game that lasted 4 hours and 11 minutes, way past midnight, Nadal came out on top, winning in 4 sets, and made it look so easy that you feel ridiculous for thinking that this could have ever ended any other way. Next, next will Rafa be back? Throughout these past few days, Rafa Nadal has suggested that this might be his last French Open, as he's been dealing with a chronic foot injury. He's been navigating this tournament that he's dominated his entire career with extra emotion. After his match with Novak, he expressed that he was just enjoying every day that he had the opportunity to play and wasn't thinking much about the future. He said that he was going to keep looking for a solution for his foot, but at the moment there wasn't any. He continued by saying that he was still playing only for nights like this, and who can blame him? Outplaying the world #1 and defending champion just like that, not many else could do it. As much as we love seeing Rafa at Roland Garros, we really hope he puts his health first and calls it quits if needed. At the end of the day, we just want him to be healthy and happy. And now, Coco Gauff is into the semis. Yesterday, the 18-year-old Coco Gauff defeated Sloane Stephens in straight sets to cement a place in her first ever Grand Slam semifinal at the French Open. With a strong performance under a lot of pressure, she outplayed her friend and opponent in every way. At the same tournament last year, Coco made it to her first Grand Slam quarterfinal, where she faced the eventual winner, Barbora Krejcikova. She had multiple set points in the first set that she failed to convert and lost the match. Since then, Coco has referenced that match numerous times as very important in terms of her growth as a player. She said that she's been working at not panicking in those high-pressure moments, and it looks like it's working out for her. Coco looked solid in her last match. Even in extremely tense situations, she held her ground, kept her composure, and focused on the task at hand. As of right now, she hasn't dropped a single set at the tournament. After the match, she said that more than anything else, she's just enjoying herself right now, and we love to hear that. We're all rooting for you, Coco. Let's go all the way. Meanwhile, outside the world of tennis, you can keep Roger Federer out of tennis, but you can't keep him out of the news. While there's history being made at the Roland Garros, the greatest player of all time took it to Instagram to make a very wholesome announcement. He posted a precious picture on Insta with the caption, "We gave in, but we couldn't be happier." The photo was him and his new dog named Willow, which the legend called Adelphi. Never change, Roger. We love to see it. Roger Federer is currently recovering from a knee surgery. He's set to make a comeback at the Swiss indoors later in October this year, and we're literally counting the days. Tennis isn't the same without him. And that's a wrap for this video. How surprised were you to see the recent Daniil Medvedev drama unfold? Who do you think is going to win the French Open? Let us know in the comments below, and make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos just like this. We'll see you in the next ones.